All right. In this video, we're going to be talking about 6.7d, which is generate equivalent expressions using the properties of operations, inverse, identity, commutative, associative, and distributive properties. So first, let's talk about these properties. So let's just say I had 3 plus, let me do a little brighter color, 3 plus x equals 6. So first, inverse. Inverse would be, I need to isolate the x. So how am I going to do that? I need to get the 3 on the right side of the equal sign. So what am I doing? I have a positive 3. And so obviously I'm adding 3. What is the inverse? And the inverse is similar to the opposite. What is the opposite of adding 3? Or what is the inverse of adding 3? Subtracting 3. And of course we have to keep our equation balanced. And so and that would cancel out. 3 minus 3 is 0. And then whatever you do to the left side, you do to the right side. And so that would give us x equals 3. So inverse is somewhat similar, not exactly, but doing the opposite of something to isolate a variable. Okay. All right. Identity property, we know the identity property 5 plus 0 is 5. It keeps its identity, or 5, oops, sorry. Well, we'll do it this way. 5 times 1 is 5. It kept its identity. It did not change. So that is the identity property. Commutative property is pretty easy. 5 times 2 is 10. Or 2 times 5 is 10. 2 plus 5 is 7. 5 plus 2 is 7. Now notice on both of these, on the multiplication, it didn't matter which order I did the multiplication, I still got 10. Or the addition, it didn't matter which order I did the addition, I still got 7. So the commutative property is, it doesn't matter which, if it's just multiplication, you can multiply the numbers in any order you want. If it's solely multiplication, and you will get the same product. And if it's just addition and there's no other operation involved, you can add the numbers in any order you would like, and you will still get the same sum. All right, associative. Associative is just how you group things. So I could have 3 times 4 times 2. I know this looks like commutative, but we're going to group it now. So if it's just multiplication, again, similar to the commutative, or if it's just addition, it doesn't matter how I group them. And again, I think of associative like your business associates. And you've watched a show or a movie, when they talk about business associates, it's the people they work with, the people that they group themselves with. Like my associates are other teachers at my school. So this, 3 times 4 is 12, 12, and then order of operations, and 12 times 2 is 24. If I grouped it differently, if I did 3 times 4 times 2, order of operations, 4 times 2 is 8, and then times 3, I still get 24. So that's associative property, and not to be confused with the distributive property. Okay, now this looks somewhat similar to associative, and it will make a lot more sense when you get into algebra, but a distributive property, I call it the loopy thing. I could do order of operations, 4 plus 2 is 6, and 6 times 3 is 18. Or I could use the distributive property and multiply 3 times 4, which is 12, and 3 times 2 is 6. Add them up, you still get 18. That is the distributive property. All right. Now going over those, we can do some problems. Okay, wrote the expression 5, parentheses, y plus 2, parentheses, plus 4 to show the amount of money 5 friends paid for snacks at a baseball game. Which expression is equivalent to the one Shay wrote? Now this one, I know we're grouping them, but this one would be definitely the distributive property. Okay, so first I'm going to do the distributive property. I can't add y plus 2. They are not like terms. If you don't know what like terms are, another video on that. But they are not like terms, so I can't add them, but I can multiply 5 by them. So I'm going to write this out, 5 and y plus 2, and the loopy. And so 5 times y is 5y. So that becomes a coefficient, number in front of the variable. Why is that 5y? Well, just think about it. If you have a y and you have 5 groups of them, So how many y's do you have now? You have 5 of them. And then 5 plus 2, or I'm sorry, 5 times 2 is 10 plus 4. All right. So let's look. I need to figure out which one it is. I know it can't be F. Why? Because I know I'm multiplying 5 times y. I am not adding 5 plus y. That doesn't work that way. Excuse me. That parenthesis symbol, that means to multiply. So I know it can't be F. So that means it must be another problem. So knowing that we have to follow the order of operations and the same operations, we can't just change it up. Let's see, could it be G? So we have 5y, and then times 5 times 2, which is 10, but notice right here, it's a multiplication symbol. But what do we have here? It's an addition symbol. Well, obviously, it can't be G. All right, let's see if it's H. 5 times y, okay, I like that. 4 plus 5. I don't know where this is going. I don't know if I like this. 4 plus, so if we did the order of operations, we would have 5y, I'm doing H right now, 5y times 4, which would make it 20y plus 10. 5 times 2 is 10, times 4 is 40. And this definitely does not look like that. So I'm guessing it is not H. Okay. Let's see if it's J. So we have 5 times y, perfect. An addition symbol, plus, perfect. Oh, kind of covered up the 5 times 2. Order of operations, multiplication comes for addition. 5 times 2 is 10, perfect. An addition symbol, awesome. Plus 4, awesome. So it's J. So again, we just had to do the distributive property and then break it down, knowing the rules, PEMDAS. We did have parentheses at first. We didn't have any exponents, but we did have to know the rest. Multiply and divide from left to right, add and subtract from left to right. So the answer is J. All right. 2017 test, which expression is equivalent to y times 48? Y times 48. Okay, so before I look at my answers, I'm going to solve this. Or not solve it. I can't solve it. I don't know what y is going to equal, but I can simplify it. What that means is carry out the operation and see what I get. I know y times 48 is, I'm going to write it above it, is 48y. Meaning, any of these answers below, if I solve them correctly, or again, I'm sorry, I can't say solve. If I simplify these, I should get 48y, and if I don't, I did something wrong. All right, so let's check F. Y times 40 is 40y. Now, I'm adding 8. These are not like terms. I can't add a 40y and an 8. Now, if it were 8y, I could add it and would get 48y. But this does not have a y, so F simplified would be that. This is kind of close, I guess, but it's not the same thing as 48y. Let's look at the next one. Y times 4 is 4y, and 4y times 8. Now, I can multiply them. Rule of multiplication. I can multiply these, but when I multiply 8 times 4y, I get 32y. Which again, I don't have a constant. A constant is a number by itself, but I'm not at 48y, so that's not it, so it's not G. All right, let's check H. Y times, let me go back to red, y times 40 is 40y. And then one parentheses, second parentheses, before I do the addition, y times 8 is 8y, and I have the addition. And then 40y. If I had 40 y's, then I added 8 more y's. How many y's would I have? Hey, all right. 48y. So my answer is H, but let's just check J. Y times 4 is 4y, and then plus 8. I can't add them, so that would be simplified, and so obviously it's not J. Okay? So again, you have to know when you can add. You add like terms. When you can't add like terms, I mean, they have to be like terms, like this right here in this top one. And I got 40y plus 8. Again, this is just a constant. It didn't have a y. I couldn't add them. on this one, on h, I got y times 40 is 40y. 8 times y is 8y. Since they both just had a y, I'm just adding the coefficient, which is the number in front. 40 plus 8 is 48y. Okay. All right, our next problem. Which expression is equivalent to 30 divided by 3 plus x? So we need to do the order of operations. So if I were to do this, I'd do 3 plus x, which I can't simplify because they're not like terms. Okay, I have a constant and a variable. And then I divide 30 by whatever 3 plus x is. So let's look. Could it be f? Well, obviously it can't be f because on this, I'm dividing 30 by this. I can't all of a sudden start dividing this by 30. I can't reverse it. 3 divided by 1 is not the same thing as 1 divided by 3. All right, we're going to go ahead and skip something. Let's go to h. 3 divided by 30 is 1/10 plus x. Well, does this look the same as that? No, it doesn't. So it can't be h. Next, we're going to do j. 30 divided by 3 is 10 plus 30 divided by x, because I can't simplify that. Well, again, does this simplification look the same as the one we started off with? It does not, so it can't be j. So let's hope, I'm going to clear all this out, let's hope the answer is g. And thankfully for us it is, because we started off with 30 divided by, perfect. 3 plus x, x plus 3. Now, what property is this? And as you can remember, this is the commutative property of addition. Now, I know that it has a variable, so it might look a little funky, but just think of it, let's just say we gave it a value, x is 6. If I did 3 plus 6, who knows what it is? We don't know. If that would be 9. But if I did 6 plus 3, I still get 9. So again, it is the commutative property of addition. So our answer is G. All right. Which two expressions are equivalent? So this one looks like on F, we're doing the distributive property, the loopy. So 9 times 6 is 54, and 9 times x is 9x. I can't combine them. And would I get the same thing on F? 9 times 6 is 54, and then I would do this. 9 times x is 9x, and then I have the addition. Well, that was kind of easy. So let's quickly check why the other ones are incorrect. G, the top one is x plus, I do the parentheses first, so it would be x plus 72, because 8 times 9 is 72. On the bottom one, this would be a distributive property. So 9 times 8 is 72. Uh-oh, did I get it wrong? And then 9 times x is 9x. Nope. So again, it's kind of close, but on the top I only have 1x. On the bottom I have 9x's. That's totally different. So it can't be G. All right, let's look at H. So we have multiply and divide. We're going to go from left to right. 8 times 6 is 48, and 48 divided by x is 48 over x. Okay, on the bottom one, I'll draw a line here. Okay, on the bottom one, different color, it would be 8 times x, which is 8x, then divided by 6. And again, a fraction bar is a division bar. These definitely don't look the same, so it's not H. Let's try J. 6 times x is 6x. Plus 3 is 6x plus 3. I can't do anything else to it. Let's check the bottom one. X plus 3. Now this becomes a distributive property, and so it would be 6 times x is 6x. And then 6 times 3 is 18. So again, it had the 6x, but it didn't have the same constants. So again, I'm sticking with my original answer, which was F. Okay. And our last problem for this video, which expression is equivalent to 3 parentheses x plus 6 parentheses? So again, what are we doing here? we are doing the distributive property. Distributive property, the loopy-loopy. So I can't combine the x and 6. They're not like terms. It's an x and it's a 6. I don't know what the x is. I don't know what it represents, so I can't combine them. I can't add them. Excuse me. But what I can do is multiply the 3 times the x and the 3 times the 6. So let's do that. 3 times x is 3x. 3 times 6 is 18. Is it positive or negative? Obviously it's positive, so it's adding 18. So our answer is D. None of the other ones would give us the same value. Let's just put in a number for x. Let me erase this some so you can kind of see it a little better. So let's just say we said x was 7. So let's see if D is correct. If I had 7, 7 plus 6 is 13, and 13 times 3 is 39. Okay. Well, would we get 39 if we did it this way? Well, 7 times 3 is 21, and 21 plus 18 is still 39, so we did it correctly. So again, our answer is D. All right, well, this is our video on 6.7D on our properties of operations. They can get a little complicated at times, but these properties are really, really important as you go into 7th and 8th grade, and especially algebra. So I hope this has made sense. If you need additional help or have any concerns, you can email me at jhewlett@lesd.ws. Thanks, and have a great day.